You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley, with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders protect their people and property with wisdom and clarity. In today's episode, we are talking about the bad news for Texas church insurance in 2026. While there's good news in the market this year, there's also a lot of danger hiding behind lower prices. Phil is sitting with the finance committee at their church in Tyler. Their mood is lighter than it was this time last year. Finally, church insurance pricing is easing up. Then Mark slides an insurance quote across the table for everyone to look at. He got it online from a website that promised big savings and used the word specialists in church insurance. Phil looks at the bottom line and his eyebrows go up. The premium is shockingly low. It's thousands less than anything the finance committee has seen in years. Phil hesitates to get too excited. He's been through enough Texas storms to know better. He remembers what hail did to their roof just a few years ago and how expensive it was to repair. So instead of celebrating, he starts reading page after page, and then he finds it, one sentence buried deep in the policy. The words read, roof loss limit of $25,000. Phil quickly does some math in his head. Their sanctuary roof alone would cost well over $150,000 to replace. That cheap policy wouldn't even come close to fixing a quarter of the damage. That's the danger Texas churches face in 2026. The church insurance market is softening. Carriers that disappeared during the hard years are suddenly very eager to write church business again. And they know something important. You're worn out from rate hikes and looking for relief. So they dangle low prices in front of your face to get you to buy. But the math of insurance hasn't changed. And if a premium is too low to realistically pay claims in Texas, there's only one way to make it work. The risk gets shifted back to the church. That's happening in three really common ways right now, and most churches don't see it until it's too late. The first is what Phil caught, which is the roof sublimit. On the declarations page, everything looks normal. Big building limit with a reasonable deductible. But hidden in the endorsements is a hard cap on roof coverage for wind and hail. Doesn't matter if your building is insured for $2 million. When hail hits, the carrier stops paying at $25,000 or $50,000, and the rest comes out of your pocket. The second danger is even harder to spot because it lives in fine print most people never read. Carriers are quietly changing how claims are paid. Older roofs that used to be covered at replacement cost are now subject to payment schedules that depreciate the value based on age. A 15-year-old roof might only get 30% of its replacement cost paid. The church writes the check for the rest. At the same time, we're seeing liability policies come through without proper retroactive coverage. That's a big problem. Because if something happened years ago, but the claim comes in today, the new policy may simply say, not our problem, leaving your church with no protection, no defense, and no help. And then there's the third issue, which is all about control. Some of these discounted policies now require managed repair programs. That means if a storm damages your church's building, you don't get to decide who fixes it. You can't hire a church member who owns a construction company to do the job. The insurance company picks the contractor. That contractor works for the carrier, not the church. Their job is to save the insurance company money, not to restore your building with care or craftsmanship. You save a little on the premium and give up control of your property when it matters most. When Phil realized all of this, he didn't feel relieved anymore. He felt grateful he slowed down. That's the lesson for 2026. Lower premiums aren't automatically bad, but unsustainable premiums are dangerous. If a policy only works on paper and falls apart during a claim, it's not insurance. It's just an expensive piece of paper. At Insurance for Texans, we spend a lot of time auditing these great deals. We show churches exactly what's been removed, capped, or redefined. True Texas church insurance is about sustainable protection, not hollow savings that disappear in a storm or a lawsuit. Don't let a cheap rate lure you into a policy that can't protect your people, your property, or your mission. Connect with our church insurance agents at insurancefortexans.com. And if you want to better understand church insurance overall, get a free copy of our book, The Promise of Certainty, at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, protecting Texas churches. Until next time, remember church insurance can be affordable and still cover what matters.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.